Part 87. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 891. Merck Neighborhood, Boston. This is the largest neighborhood in eastern Boston. In the corner of the neighborhood, a large number of homeless people gather. Here, the dirty, messy, and poor environment makes people look miserable. Wanderer Ram walked out silently with his brothers. There was no joy in his expression. Obviously, the deal fell apart. Coppola, the boss of the Merck neighborhood, regarded them as fools who could only tell lies. You have lived like this, and you still dream of being a savior and saving the wandering elves in the elf world? The North American Elf Charity Organization doesn't care about these things, but they still expect Yang Yu, a Chinese trainer? Take your cat and get out. These were Coppola's exact words to expel them. Wanderer Ram's eyes were cold and he didn't want to continue wasting time here. Belief or not is not something he can control. What Ram can do is to make those who can believe in him, live a better life, and at the same time, he can also help the wandering elves. Boss Roma, do you really believe that Chinese trainer Yang Yu? Standing on the street corner of the Merck neighborhood, the homeless man Pruitt asked cautiously. This was a basin of cold water that directly extinguished their fiery hearts. What Coppola, the boss of the Merck neighborhood, said is not unreasonable. Ram raised his head, looked at the dazzling sun, and squinted his eyes. Pruitt, except for our elf companions, we have nothing to lose. Anyway, even if you are still shaken in your heart, but you have to think about it, if we don't come here, Merck's people will also do you think we are fools? Their hands are not clean. The wanderer Roma stretched out his hands. Although there was still dust on them, for Roma, it was a symbol of spiritual level. Isn't it because you are willing to follow me, that human bottom line still exists? Ram smiled, squatted down, and stroked the soft hair on the cat boss's body. Man, I'm sorry for making you feel wronged. Meow. The cat boss held up his hand and licked Ram's rough face, indicating that Ram didn't need to apologize for it. There was a hint of ferocity in the cat boss's left eye. They will regret it. At 9 a.m., Mkinson came to his office in a good mood with a cup of hot coffee in his hand to start a new day of work. President, these are the latest documents, you need to review them. Mkinson nodded and motioned to the secretary to put these paper documents on the table and look at them later. I flipped through the paper documents one by one. Most of them were projects that needed to be reported to the Elf Alliance. Just let Mkinson know about this. Some documents needed to be signed. Mkinson swiped his pen. Swish, write and sign your name. Just look at it, it's very handsome. When Mkinson's eyes got tired of reading, he took a moment, took a sip of hot coffee, and then turned to the next page. Puff. The hot coffee spray, which evolved from the water spray move, can instantly make the user energetic and put them into a coughing state. Sometimes, when excited, it may spray out of the nose. Apparently, this time, Mkinson accidentally sprayed some hot coffee out of his nose. Cough cough cough, what is this? Under Mkinson's extremely energetic gaze, the few lines of information on this document soaked in coffee suddenly shocked Mkinson's heart. Chinese trainer Yang Yu will build a personal gym in the southern suburbs of Boston, North America. The office was quiet for a while, then suddenly there was a loud roar from Mkinson. What, building a personal gym? The office fell silent again. Mkinson was stunned for a while, and then he slowly came to his senses. It seems that trainers from other countries and regions are establishing personal gyms in North America. The North American Elf Alliance should give strong support, right? Because there are huge benefits here. To build a gym, you always need construction materials, right? Some better and higher-end materials are only owned by companies certified by the Elf Alliance. Some materials are even monopolized by the Elf Alliance. These materials are expensive. How much can you earn from them? In short, if you want to build a personal gym, especially a trainer like Yang Yu with gym level strength, the Elf Alliance will definitely make a profit. This is still the most basic thing. Someone has to maintain a personal gym, right? It definitely won't work alone. In any case, to establish a personal gym in the Boston area of North America, Mkinson and the Boston Elf Alliance can also find opportunities to put some of their own people in. By then, wouldn't there be a chance to know what Yang Yu is thinking? What? But when I think of Yang Yu as a trainer from China. Mkinson gritted his teeth. The calculations in my heart were crackling again. Gradually, Mckenson's expression slowly relaxed from a frown. George, come over here. I have something to do here. Come over and help me with my advice. George, the secretary of the Elf Alliance, responded to the boss's order with a smile on his face, because when he received news from the boss's voice was filled with joy and even a little bit. When George saw the information document that had been sprayed with coffee, he frowned slightly and recognized what was written on it. His face was overjoyed. Congratulations to the boss, congratulations to the boss. Yang Yu is going to establish a personal path in Boston the museum. This is a huge profit and political achievement. The boss is wise. Mackinson was in a good mood. Although he didn't like the trainer Yang Yu, who wouldn't be at odds with his interests. Establishing a personal gym, and a gym at the gym level trainer level of Yang Yu, is a huge financial benefit. In this way, the Boston Elf Alliance will make a direct profit. Boss, if this happens, will the major elf gym leaders in the country, will gather together in Boston to have friendly exchanges at Yang Yu's personal gym, George said on the word friendly falling heavily. When Mackinson heard this, his eyes brightened again. Thinking back to it, it seems that the super gym leader Eisen also sent an invitation letter to Yang Yu for the elf duel, right? In this way, can Eisen take advantage of this opportunity to go to Yang Yu's personal gym to revenge? If every gym leader went to visit Yang Yu's personal gym, would such a gym be able to withstand such a level of spirit duel? If a personal gym collapses just after it is established, should we continue to rebuild? Yang Yu, the Chinese trainer, must save his face. If he rebuilds the gym, will the Elf Alliance receive a large amount of financial income? This wave of blood profit. This wave of blood profit. Okay. 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 Immediately inform Eisen of the news, and also tell all the gym leaders in North America that Chinese trainer Yang Yu is going to establish a personal gym in Boston. If you have time, you can come over and take a look together. After all, this breadth of super gymnasium must be fought for. Mackinson felt that the George in front of him was really a genius and his brain was really flexible. He praised him repeatedly. George, you are good. They are all well cultivated by the boss, George said extremely flatteringly. Ha 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 ha. In the office of the president of the Boston Elf Alliance, Mackinson's extremely hearty laughter could be heard. Professor Yang Yu, this place, how did you find it? Oh my god, this is so suitable for a personal elf gym. This place is even on the map, but I couldn't even find it. How did you do it? When Hu Jing received Yang Yu's personal gym location map, she was shocked. Because when Hu Jing made her first choice, she chose Boston. But what she never expected was that there was such a good place in Boston. You know, Hu Jing used a lot of map tools, and even entrusted this matter to a senior who studied computer engineering in North America. The locations they finally selected were already thousands of miles away from Boston. How is this done? Of course Yang Yu would not tell Hu Jing that he had the secret of Reggie Locke's wisdom core, but the homeless people in the back streets also helped Yang Yu a lot in this matter. The specific address was given to Yang Yu by the Wanderer. After Yang Yu asked Reggie Locke's wisdom core to confirm it on a brand new computer, he notified Hu Jing and Lily Ying to come over. Hu Jing never expected that Professor Yang Yu would complete her next task first. In fact, the location she found was countless times better than hers. For a moment, in addition to admiration, Hu Jing's face turned red from embarrassment. What Lily Sakura noticed was that there were more other things at this address. Professor Yang Yu, do you need me to go to the Boston Elf Alliance now to get this piece of land approved? This is a remote area in the southern suburbs, and the price will not be very high. Yang Yu nodded. At this point, Lily Ying's help was remembered in Yang Yu's heart. When the time comes, using more sugar in exchange for resources will be regarded as a reward. So, do I need to reserve the materials for the construction of the elf gym in advance? This is a big project and requires a lot of things, so it is best to reserve it in advance, Lily Sakura continued. Yang Yu shook his head, and in front of Hu Jing and Lily Ying, smiled and said the answer that made them both completely confused: no, my personal gym doesn't need to be so troublesome. There is no need to build the buildings for the elf battle arena. Hu Jing. Lily Sakura. What, did they hear it correctly? Professor Yang Yu's personal gym, no need to buy materials? No need to build a gym building? Is this still a personal gym? Wherever I am, the gym is there. Also, once my gym is established, will the owner of the Boston Super Gym, Eisen, not be able to come and attack my gym? Maybe there are 18 gyms in North America. Gym leaders are all here to join in the fun, they can't stand the trouble. Yang Yu looked at Hu Jing and Lily Ying with a half smile. One more thing. On the day when the personal gym is completed, we need to hold a concert. Hu Jing. Lily Sakura. Professor Yang Yu, can I ask, will you sing on stage? Hu Jing weakly stretched out a finger to gesture. You want to hear it? I can sing it to you right now. Sad face, lie equals, rub. Professor Yang Yu, don't talk. One of our own. Okay, I won't kid you anymore. The real protagonist of this concert will be Jigglypuff. It will be a concert that celebrates life, and the performers will be the wandering elves on the streets of Boston. Lyuri Sakura should know that when I first started, I worked part-time at the Elf Trust. At that time, I didn't have much ability to help these elves. Now, there is actually very little I can do, but let's do what I can. This way, I have a clear conscience. My personal gym, in this abandoned site in the southern suburbs, will become a place where flowers bloom in the future. This can be regarded as a spiritual journey. Praise the world of elves. One world, one dream. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 892. Things are slowly building up. Yang Yu was not anxious at all. Jigglypuff's rock band still needs to be adjusted. At least during this period of time, it is very important for Jigglypuff to seriously study rock music and know the rhythm of the music and the ability to render the stage. It's a slow learning process. Also, these wandering elves in the backstreet blocks are currently working hard to integrate. The space in the backstreet area is a bit small. When the time comes, Male can replace the Salted Fish King to help these little guys. They lined up. Male learned a lot from following the Salted Fish King. Moreover, Male is a born dancer. Let Male lead these elves to simply dance some happy dances, and then hand over the stage to these elves at the concert in the near future. Let them have a stage to show their beautiful lives. The original travel plan in North America has been extended, which is not a problem. What Yang Yu has to do now is to accompany Jigglypuff and become the most powerful supporter behind Jigglypuff, that is. Avid fan. You guys, don't just watch here. Do you understand that you are waving the light stick? Cai Swanyi, come on, bring the ear ornaments of Fatty, one for each person, everyone wears them. Everyone must be consistent when swinging, do you understand? Yang Yu made a musical fountain stage for Jigglypuff beside the fountain under the manor. To attract other spectators, it is better to look for the students who came with us. Yang Yu also specially customized Jigglypuff's ear jewelry on a temporary basis. In this way, everyone in the manor is a fan of Jigglypuff. What can these students do? Who let Professor Yang Yu lead them? In fact, Jigglypuff's ear accessories are very similar to Pink Cat ear headphones, but when worn together like this, the feeling is indeed very different. Who doesn't have a girly heart? More or less. People like Cai Swanyi said they didn't want it, but in fact they acted very quickly. Under this effect, Jigglypuff was deeply moved and sang even harder. It's for people and elves who want to hear Jigglypuff sing. Jigglypuff will not disappoint his fans. Grrrrrrrr. Dedu also wore an extra pink and fluffy chubby ear ornament next to his golden conch hat. In short, the pair of eyes on the golden conch hat were disgusting and protesting. However, basically, this guy's protests are ineffective. Unlike other people's Jigglypuff ear jewelry, the dull Jigglypuff ear jewelry can be moved. Let's take a look at the super-powered elves. In addition to being dumbfounded, the little dream monster also painted the rags outside Mimikyu pink, especially the two ears. Originally, Mimikyu looked like Pikachu, but now, like a pink Pikachu, the one that eats a pink fruit that turns its body into pink. Tijipe, wearing Jigglypuff's ear accessories, pretends to be Jigglypuff, and acts like Jigglypuff's happy little fanboy on the stage, swaying left and right, moving and hitting. The days in the manor were always happy. But what Yang Yu didn't know was that he wasn't anxious, but someone was anxious, so anxious that his hair felt like it was going to be burnt. Boston Elf Alliance. This week, Mkinson felt more and more something was wrong. From the anticipation on the first day, to the waiting on the second, third, and fourth days, to the next few days. Wait, I can't wait any longer. Yang Yu is setting up a personal gym. Why hasn't he purchased the materials to build the gym? I've been waiting for a week, but there's been no sign of any trouble. The building materials merchants in North America can't wait any longer. They are all looking forward to it. Stare, what can I do? It's not like I want to buy the gym building materials. Mackinson felt that his eyelids were trembling. What on earth was going on? No, this Chinese trainer Yang Yu was just flying satellites, right? George, who was aside, pondered for a while and said cautiously, "Boss, could it be that because the amount of building materials required is relatively large, and there are also financial issues to consider, it is slower to formulate the plan, and it has only been completed now?" 1 week, such a big plan always takes time. After listening to George's words, Mackinson felt a little better. This is indeed the truth, but the problem lies here. How come there is no news about such a big plan? This is what Mackinson can't understand. When establishing a personal gym in other countries and regions, isn't it necessary to pay attention to a certain style? Not to mention this is a Chinese trainer. Unfortunately, what Mackinson didn't know was that Yang Yu was a person who fell into the money eye. If he wanted to take money out of Yang Yu's hands, even the little dream demon would have to work for Yang Yu to take care of the baby. If Mackinson and the Elf Alliance don't work for Yang Yu, how can Yang Yu be willing to pay for it? Wait a minute, if it's really a plan, in the end, won't our Boston Elf Alliance make a lot of money? Mackinson murmured. The president is wise. We are already in the process of land management approval here. This future site will be my personal gym, and it will also be the venue for our concerts. Yang Yu took the time to visit the southern suburbs. Here, the wanderer Roma took the other two wanderers Nick and Pruitt, looking at an abandoned field of nearly 100 acres, and their hearts were shaken. They are very familiar with Boston. In the past few years of wandering, they have a clear understanding of the large and small neighborhoods, even on the edge of the city, many places that even the Elf Alliance may not know about. The news about this place was also told by Roma to Yang Yu. But what Ram didn't expect was that the Chinese trainer Yang Yu actually chose this venue directly to use it as a personal gym and prepare a life-praising concert for the wandering elves. "You're a lunatic." Wanderer Ram took a deep look at Yang Yu. "So are you, aren't you?" Yang Yu smiled and his tone was extremely calm. In the past few days, Yang Yu was also learning about some of the experiences of the Wanderer Roma. Yang Yu didn't have the ability to find it, but Lily Ying did. Fortunately, perhaps due to Tejapai's divine grace and super lucky characteristics, the Wanderer Ram that Yang Yu found, was a great Wanderer leader. Since Roma chose to believe him, Yang Yu, then Yang Yu would definitely treat him seriously. "Thank you for choosing to continue to believe in me." This sentence was said by Ram, the Wanderer. "That's what I want to say too." Yang Yu and Wanderer Roma shook hands again. "This time, I held it for a long, long time." Meow. Boom. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiao. Chapter 893. In the backstreets of Boston, some secret changes are quietly taking place. In the corners of these shops, you can occasionally see some small flower buds waiting to bloom. Although they are very small, there is no natural green in these original street corners. This is life. Life will always strive to grow in a vigorous direction. In the alley at the corner of the street, a walking grass ran over with its feet thumping, thumping. You can see that there are some crystal water drops on the head of this walking grass. Lower your head. A few drops of water followed the veins of the grass blades and landed on this small bud. Walking grass greets friends in this alley. Soon, everyone lined up in the alley to visit this little flower bud on the corner. They have not seen the light of hope for a long time. Now, they have a chance to see it. After bidding farewell to this little flower bud, the walking grasses still have their own things to do. Like a small grass, small grass, small grass, swaying in the wind. In this backstreet block, a temporary stage was set up. It is hard to believe that after simple tidying up, the small and messy space can feel very big to the senses. The teacher who is now leading the walkers to dance the walker dance on this stage is Cao, a student brought by Yang Yu from the Yanjing Music Elf Academy. Off the stage, there are 4 other students who are dancing happily accompaniment. At first, when these young people heard that they were coming to a neighborhood in Boston, North America, they were not afraid, but even a little excited. In the field of music in the elf world, many things that are mentioned, especially rock music, originally became popular on the streets of North America. For these students who are studying rock music, Professor Yang Yu takes them to the streets. Are you here to experience the history of street music in the past? Even. They are all eager to have a performance here. Not to mention the boys, even the 2 girls in the 5-person team, Cao and Zhang Luzwilin, looked enthusiastic, drank fake wine, and asked for help. With Professor Yang Yu here, to be honest, dominating on the street is not a problem. They have all heard Professor Yang Yu hum the tune. Once the tune is hummed, it seems that there is an illusion that no one will survive. In this way, it is not difficult to dominate the neighborhood. Fortunately, Jigglypuff is not like that. But what puzzled them was why they came here during the day and not at night. When they came here, the answer was finally revealed. As a stage presence and dance teacher, the teaching targets are the wandering elves who live in a large area of this backstreet block. Walking grass accounts for a larger proportion, followed by Rattata. The walking straw was left to the 2 girls, and the Rattatas were naturally handed over to the other 3 boys. Professor Yang Yu, please think of a way. The walking grass can even come up with the dance of the walking grass. Can these little rattles also help me think of a dance? Looking at the three wailing boys from Yanjing Music Elf Academy, Yang Yu's face showed no emotion. Damn it, if I had thought about it, I would still come to you three. Do you understand how to brainstorm ideas and how to draw ideas from others? Can you draw inferences from one example? When answering, Yang Yu coughed lightly. This will be left to you three. This is a test for you. I have directly established a personal gym here. The difficulties that I may encounter in the future are still there. If you rise to the challenge and teach Ratata how to dance, will it still be difficult for you? This is Ratata. It's completely different from those walking grasses. These Ratata are very naughty, everyone jumps on them. Who can withstand this? To be honest, all Yang Yu could think of about little Lotta was Shuk Shuk Shuk, Shuk who flies a plane, and Beta Beta Beta, Beta who drives a tank. We can't let these little Lottas learn to fly planes and tanks, right? Etc. Yang Yu's eyes suddenly stopped here. Professor Yang Yu, do you have any idea? Drummer Chen Leshan's eyes lit up. Guitarist Tong Yao and keyboardist Zhou Qin also had eyes filled with excitement. As early as when Hua Guo met Professor Yang Yu for the first time, they had seen how powerful Professor Yang Yu's thinking was. There were some things that they could not imagine at all. The most important thing is here. They couldn't imagine it at all, but Professor Yang Yu can not only think of it, but also realize it. Maybe this is the difference in realm. Ahem, can you fly a plane? How about teaching these little rattas to fly toy planes? If you don't know how to fly, it doesn't matter. Let's drive a tank club. They're like toys. There are so many little Lottas. It's totally fine to build a flying brigade and a tank brigade. Sigma, Sigma, Sigma. Confused for 3 consecutive times. Professor Yang Yu, are you kidding us? Let these Lottas fly toy airplanes and toy tanks? What kind of invincible imagination is this? Professor Yang Yu is awesome, who would have thought of this? If you can come up with something else, use yours. If you think my idea is okay, then go ahead and implement it. Elves are very smart. Teaching them to fly planes and tanks is a matter of minutes. Yang Yu said extremely calmly, with a calm and gentle look. He could easily pick it up. Tong Yao. Professor Yang Yu is awesome. The training here is left to these students. I have to admit that students are indeed the best labor force. First of all, they hardly need to pay any wages, and they do their best in everything they do. Just like many companies, they like to recruit more students as interns. Give the lowest price, but get the highest profit. When you need to become a full-time employee one day, you can just find a reason to pass the time. Yang Yu would not dampen the passion of these students for this music. On the contrary, the support he gave them was quite huge. Whatever they need, even if they are looking for some music masters in North America, Yang Yu will have the opportunity to find them. Data Dessert Shop and electromagnetic popping candy are quite useful weapons in North America. Coupled with Yang Yu's personal trainer's strength, this means that both hands must be grasped and both hands must be strong. Whether it is his own strength or some external industries, they are a reliable guarantee for Yang Yu to open up territory. Yang Yu may be in some trouble now. Yun Zhenfei, the leader of the Dragon-type gym in Yanjing, China, was having a video chat with Jefferson, the leader of the Dragon-type gym in North America. In North America, not all gym leaders are like Eisen, who reject Yang Yu, a young trainer from China. Some are rejecting, and naturally there are also gyms that have a friendly attitude and remain neutral. The owner, Jefferson, the North American Dragon gym leader, is one of those gym leaders who maintains a good attitude. The multipolarity trend in the elf world means that the Elf Alliance in North America no longer has the absolute right to speak. Times are changing, and at the same time, they are also progressing. That kid Yang Yu announced the opening of his personal gym, which attracted too much attention in North America. At this time, the video has ended. Yoon Jianfei groped his chin and felt the touch of his beard with his fingers. His brows gradually tightened as he recalled the call just now in his mind. It seems that the gym leaders in North America are all planning to gather together on the day when Yang Yu's personal gym is completed. They may even attract the King of Heaven. Yoon Jianfei's expression gradually became serious. 18 North American gym leaders will gather in Boston on the day when their personal gyms are completed. The North American Elf Alliance seems to regard Yang Yu's establishment of a personal gym as very important. What is this going to do? Yoon Jianfei had a flash of thought and already had some guesses in his mind. Sure enough, if you can't beat me, are you going to call someone to intimidate you? Yoon Jianfei was a little frightened. He needs to urgently contact Yang Yu in North America. When Yoon Jianfei told Yang Yu about this, Yang Yu's words made Yoon Jianfei a little confused. Behind the Boston Elf Alliance, is it Meituan? Yang Yu had already expected this in his heart, but the urgent call from the owner Yoon Jianfei made Yang Yu even a little happy. Meituan. Isn't that a food delivery company from China? 18 gym leaders gathered in Boston. What does this have to do with Meituan? Meituan is great at giving away gifts. Get to know these gym leaders here in advance, and then you can visit their gyms. Yang Yu's words made Yoon Jianfei even more frightened. In fact, the atmosphere here gradually became weird. No. This shouldn't be that Yang Yu is in trouble. Why does it feel like these gym leaders are in trouble when Yang Yu says this? Meituan super delivery? Fortunately Yang Yu thought of it. For a while, Yoon Jianfei didn't know what to worry about. Yang Yu. Yoon Jianfei spoke slowly. Ah. Yang Yu was still very grateful to Master Yoon in his heart. It was probably almost midnight in China at this time, and Yang Yu was very touched when he contacted him urgently at this time. The call was silent for a while. Because Yoon Jianfei suddenly forgot his lyrics. Well, please stop demolishing a few gyms. Some gym leaders are still very friendly. This time it was Yang Yu's turn to start asking questions. No, in Gym Master Yun's heart, am I, Yang Yu, an invincible king of destruction who demolishes gyms? Master Yun, I said a visit, a visit. Yang Yu argued loudly. I understand, I understand. Hall Master Yun laughed, his voice was so, honey and weird. Yang Yu. If they are Meituan, you will be the demolition office, vigorously demolition office. When Yang Yu heard the words vigorously demolition office, he was stunned for a moment. It seems, this name sounds familiar. On the Pacific Ocean, a giant ship heading to North America seemed to be covered with a thin layer of silver gauze at this moment in the night with the bright moon. On the deck of this giant ship, a young figure stared straight ahead. Beside him, there is a powerful force, like a bodyguard, protecting him well. My name is Wang Xiaoli. My family used to run a moving company and a forest bodyguard group. Now, I am leading our vigorous demolition office and construction team, which totals nearly 100 people, to the other side of the Pacific, North America. I heard that in North America, that person is going to establish a personal gym in Boston. Although I, Wang Xiaoli, have no ability as a trainer, I know that after seeing each other in the Pearl Forest, that person is destined to become a training legend. Home. My name is Wang Xiaoli, and I am now following the legendary trainer. Pokemon's character master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 894. Yang Yu didn't expect that he would meet the old guy he met in Pearl Forest in North America. Wang Xiaoli, who was once part of the powerful bodyguard team, who was still afraid of walking at night in the forest and was also pranked by little dream monsters, is now the boss of a demolition team and a construction team. Xiao Li, am I right? Damn it! How did you find this place? Yang Yu couldn't help being surprised. You know, this is not Hangzhou. It's Boston, a completely unfamiliar place. How did Wang Xiaoli find this place? Also, seeing each other again, is really a bit dreamy. Boss Yang Yu, hee, you didn't expect that, did you? When Wang Xiaoli smiles, his smile comes completely from the heart. It feels really good to be able to see the boss he needs to look up to, follow him, and meet him again. Especially Wang Xiaoli is no longer the submissive Wang Xiaoli before, but now Wang Dali who can perform miracles with great force. Come on, let's sit inside and make a few cups of tea. Grrrrrrrr. Daidai's memory has always been very good. The first time Wang Xiaoli saw him, Daidai recognized the young man he had met by chance in the Pearl Forest. In this life, you must learn to grow. The little dream demon, who was sitting on the cold ordering table in the Daidai dessert shop, eating a strawberry milkshake with Tijipai and Mimikyo, immediately straightened his eyes when he saw Wang Xiaoli's appearance. The little dream demon waved her magic stick in front of Wang Xiaoli, floated on Yang Yu's table and stamped her feet, then looked at Yang Yu, meaning the person in front of her. Meet the little dream demon. At that time, he was still the defeated general who was fainted by the little dream monster. Seeing the little dream demon appear in front of him again, Wang Xiaoli was not very scared this time. When he thought of the time he traveled in the forest until now, time really flew by. Okay, little dream demon, don't scare our old friend. Wang Xiaoli, I really didn't expect you to find this place. Yang Yu pulled out his chair and sat down. Daidai made tea, brought a plate of desserts, and placed it on the table. The little dream demon is on this table, using the magic fairy stick to guide the desserts and greeting several guests. I heard in China that brother Yang Yu was going to build a personal gym. I thought that there must be a lot of labor here, so I volunteered to come here. I was a little embarrassed, but I didn't know if brother Yang Yu would take him in. Wang Xiaoli touched the back of his head. This young man with a tanned face smiled sincerely but also a little naively. Come on, food and accommodation must be all included. How did you get here? Did you rest along the way? Yang Yu said happily. It's time to rest. We came here by ship. There are many people here. There are more than 100 people. But brother Yang Yu doesn't have to pay us. I heard that we are coming to North America to work for you. Elf Alliance, they have given us a lot of support, which is already a lot. Wang Xiaoli didn't give Yang Yu a chance to speak, and then continued, didn't brother Yang Yu open this dessert shop in Hafa? This dessert shop is really amazing. Our bus driver said it is the best dessert shop in the world. Boston is already the best dessert shop, Yang Yu is awesome. Wang Xiaoli had to admire him. Brother Yang Yu can become a legend not only in the field of trainers, but also in business. It is really amazing. At this moment, the friends who came with Wang Xiaoli couldn't resist the temptation of Dai's dessert. No matter how reserved they were, they still couldn't control their eating habits when they ate it. Hey, pay attention to your image, pay attention to your image. Wang Xiaoli's head hurt a little. These people are good at everything but have never seen the world. When I first got off the ship in North America, everyone stared with big eyes and asked questions, just like children entering a big supermarket. We are all our own people. Don't worry about this. We still have to thank brother Xiaoli for having the heart to come and help, Yang Yu sighed in his heart. Unexpectedly, we said goodbye in the Pearl Forest and met again, not only in a foreign country, but also with Wang Xiaoli in person and with his own strength. Yang Yu sighed, feeling something was a little strange. Brother Yang Yu, what's wrong? Wang Xiaoli noticed some changes in Yang Yu's expression and asked quickly. Nothing, I just want to ask, in which aspect of the work are the members of Dali Company brought by brother Xiaoli better? Yang Yu asked. It's nothing, everyone's business is still a lot of moving, being a bodyguard, construction, etc., the best thing is to help with demolition. After all, elves have powerful and strange powers, and demolition is fast and good, Wang Xiaoli replied said. When talking about this, Wang Xiaoli's eyes brightened again. By the way, brother Yang Yu, I have bred a Maliliali with the characteristics of a strong man. I really forgot about it. I should let it come out to eat some desserts. Liliali. The elf ball flashed, and a merry lily appeared in Yang Yu's sight. Yang Yu. Hercules, Mary Luri with special characteristics? Yang Yu thought of the fear of dragon elves being dominated. Fortunately, Yang Yu's silly mini dragon, oh no, it should be the hack dragon that looks silly but is actually even more silly. It doesn't seem to be afraid of fairies, and even its moves have a bit of fairy vibes. Immediately, Yang Yu felt a light flash around him, and an elf jumped out from beside him. That's it? The croaking frog. Liliali. Mary Lily glanced at the frog and stretched her arms. When she exerted herself, she could even see a little bit of muscle. Yang Yu saw the scene in his eyes, and he was so worried that Maliliali's Hercules characteristics were really the unique signboard of the vigorous demolition office. An elf like this looks soft and weak on the surface, but once it strikes, it will definitely be a thunderous blow. Quack quack quack. The croak-headed frog challenged Mary Lily. Oh, poor baby. There was a little bit of compassion in Yang Yu's eyes, but it was not a good place to fight elves here. However, since the croaking frog had issued a challenge, it was time for the croaking frog to suffer. Mary Lily with the characteristics of a strong man. If the croak-headed frog was accidentally punched, his head would probably be knocked off, right? In the southern suburbs of Boston, it is indeed necessary to demolish some abandoned houses first. If Wang Xiaoli had not come, Yang Yu expected that the plan to build a personal gymnasium would be implemented in a few days. Now Wang Xiaoli is here with his demolition office. Came just in time. Yang Yu wondered whether he should introduce Wang Xiaoli's vigorous demolition work to the super gym owner after the preliminary demolition work of abandoned houses in his gym area was completed. The demolition efficiency in North America is really not good. So many days have passed, and even the ceiling has not been completely removed during the renovation of the super gym. Mary Lily has the characteristics of a strong man, plus a lot of powerful and strange strength. This is a professional team. Yang Yu smiled softly. Helping Wang Xiaoli develop additional business seems a win-win situation. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 895. Wang Xiaoli's demolition office team was the first reinforcement from China to voluntarily go to North America to help Yang Yu build a personal gym. Yang Yu did not reject Wang Xiaoli's kindness. He was able to see Wang Xiaoli's life getting better and better and his spine getting stronger and stronger from that day on. Yang Yu was also very happy for Wang Xiaoli. The abandoned area of the gymnasium site only needs to be demolished. As for the gymnasium buildings, they will not be built for the time being. Don't worry yet. There is a reason for this. The intensity of the gym battle will exceed the gym level. Recently, I also received news that 18 gym leaders from North America will come. In a closed gym venue, it is easy for the gym to be demolished due to excessive intensity. Wang Xiaoli thought for a moment, nodded and said, Brother Yang Yu, this is indeed the case. If the venue is to accommodate the intensity of the battle between elves that exceeds the gym level, even if the best materials are used, there is no way to guarantee the absolute safety of the gym in a short time. Safety. In a gym-level elf duel, the explosion caused by energy is no less powerful than those high-power bombs, which is a great pressure on the gym. If we want to build an elf gym as strong as the water gym in Jiangdong province of China, it will take at least half a year to a year. The reconstruction and renovation of the water system gym started in November last year and has continued until July now. It has still not been fully completed and accepted. You must know that when rebuilding a gym in China, the construction personnel sent by the Elf Alliance must be among the top in the country, both in terms of design and safety. In addition, the water gym itself has a set of shockproof water rings. The comprehensive design and reconstruction of the water system gymnasium has ranked first among all 17 gymnasiums in the country. The reason why it has not yet been announced as completed is to test the final gym's ability to withstand energy explosions caused by moves and bombardments. It will not be open to the public until all the gym's performances are fully up to standard. If Yang Yu wants to build an elf gym with strong resistance to strikes like the water gym in North America, it will take at least more than half a year. Therefore, Wang Xiaoli thinks that Yang Yu has such an idea and does not think so. Accident. So, if you want to build a good personal gym, you should go back to China to build it. Building it here is really not necessary. Yang Yu spread his hands. Building an elf gym, with the strength of brother Yang Yu, can indeed create countless jobs. In this way, it is really unnecessary to build it in North America, and the wealth will not flow to outsiders. Wang Xiaoli told the truth. Tell the truth. Yang Yu smiled and nodded. However, in such a large area, there will still be some necessary buildings in the future. We want to use this area as a concert. In this regard, we will trouble you and your demolition office construction team. Wang Xiaoli waved his hands repeatedly. No trouble, no trouble. When will brother Yang Yu let us take a look at your extra large Gyarados and menus? Let us workers take pictures so that we can show them off when we go back. We are very rare. Yang Yu smiled and said, that's a must. When we find a place with a good view or wait for the venue to be cleaned up or for the concert, we can take a group photo together. That's it. It seems that I, Wang Xiaoli, can succeed in chasing stars. Ha ha ha, congratulations. At this moment, I only heard a miserable cry of croak not far away. After a closer look, it turned out to be Wang Xiaoli's strongman Maliliali, who directly punched the croaking frog away. At this time, the croaking frog he fell to the ground on all fours and suspected frog life. This feeling is wrong. Mariluli obviously doesn't look powerful, but why is her fist so powerful when fighting? Looking at Mariluli, who was clapping her hands and breathing lightly, the frog felt that this was very unscientific. Wang Xiaoli looked a little embarrassed, but Yang Yu didn't care, and was even a little lucky. It seems that the croaking frog finally has an opponent this time. Mariluli, who has the characteristics of a strong man, can defeat all kinds of magic with one force. No matter how good the frog's maneuvers are, he will still get punched in the end. This croaking frog still needs training. It's just right. My croaking frog can practice with your Mariluli. Wang Xiaoli nodded, but Maliluli had been carrying materials with their demolition office construction team. The strength at hand was stronger than Hao Li or even comparable to strange strength. She was afraid that Yang Yu's frog would be injured. Yang Yu seemed to see Wang Xiaoli's worry, waved his hand and said, "This is what the frog asked for. Don't worry, even if he is injured, it will be fine. He will be alive and kicking again the next day." Wang Xiaoli always felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't explain it. It seemed that brother Yang Yu knew this very well. It seemed that this frog had been injured a lot in the past. But training always requires some hardship. Come on, I'll take him to see Jigglypuff singing training. There will be dance rehearsals later. I don't know what kind of show Ratatouille and the others will perform in the end. Wang Xiaoli couldn't help but be surprised after hearing this. Brother Yang Yu, are you really a trainer? If they don't know you, people who don't know would think you are an entertainment person. Why, the gorgeous competition is also in the category of entertainment. Besides, I am also the trainer who won the first place in the gorgeous competition at Tokyo Sakura Dojo. Organizing an event is quite easy, right? Yang Yul said cheerfully. Versatile and awesome, he is worthy of the legendary trainer in my impression. By the way, speaking of the gorgeous Tokyo Sakura Dojo, Yang Yu wondered if he could find an opportunity to invite the gorgeous contest master Ishihara Miku over. In terms of aesthetics, Ishihara Miku still had a unique style. Just how should I invite myself? After all, taking a photo with Damali and Frost Milk Fairy, Ishihara Miku should not be too rare. Yes. Why not give Ishihara Miku a chance to take a photo with her? Still free. You can consider this operation. Yang Yu gave his witty self a wave of likes. Boss, something is still wrong. Why is there still no news about ordering materials from Yang Yu? The material dealers we comforted can't wait. George's forehead was already covered with sweat. There has been a message below. The news has come, the material dealers have gathered together. Boss, what should we do now? When these guys smelled the benefits, they started to come over like madmen and asked them to wait. What the hell, is it that our Elf Alliance is going to build a personal gym? It's Yang Yu, the trainer of the Hua Kingdom, who is counting on us. The Elf Alliance gives money? What a dream, Mackensen gritted his teeth at the side. But what can be done now? These businessmen have gathered in the Boston Elf Alliance. This is all agreed upon, and there is no preparation for Mackensen at all. This is clearly an attempt to force the palace. George, you go to Hafa's place to check on the situation, and ask the officer over there who is watching Yang Yu what the recent trends are and what news there is. I'll go meet the guests. Yes. Even though Mackensen looked like he was gritting his teeth now, when he walked out of the office, he already had a smile on his face. The Elf Alliance and the material dealers, in order to make a fortune from the cost of materials for building the gym here, specially sent people to cooperate with the material dealers of the Elf Alliance and made an agreement to give Ka Yang a hard blow. It just wants to block the lifeblood of Yang Yu's personal gym. When the time comes, won't it be left to the control of their Boston Elf Alliance? However, things feel more and more wrong. In the elf world, if you want to build a building, with the help of elves, the efficiency can be much faster, especially if you have elves with great strength, strange strength, etc., and strong power. You can save a lot of time in transporting materials. With the protection of super elves, the safety risks of building construction will be minimized. It can also ensure that materials can be transported from the ground to high altitudes instantly, saving a lot of construction time. At the same time, it can also ensure the absolute safety of materials and prevent objects from falling from high altitudes. The water elves can use water guns to coordinate the work of the people in the cement area, and at the same time let Haoli and Wei Li push the cement trucks to where they are needed. In this way, division of labor and cooperation can save human trainers a lot of energy. In the elf world, people who work as coolies also have their own way of survival. With the help of the elf, life may be exciting and fulfilling. For the Elf Alliance, Yang Yu seems to have no intention of ordering building materials now. Mackensen has been waiting for a full week for Yang Yu to order materials from the merchants that the Boston Elf Alliance cooperates with. But what? If it takes a week, he has already waited. Each of these material dealers has prepared their inventory, and they are waiting for Yang Yu to come to purchase. They have already agreed and are prepared to pay a premium. There are indeed cheaper building materials in North America than them, but they have to add shipping costs. Thus, if Yang Yu wants to build a gym-level personal gym, he must buy these materials if he doesn't want to, otherwise, he won't even think about building it. The initiative is completely in the hands of the Elf Alliance and these North American material dealers. Coupled with the arrogance of these material dealers, they are just at home, waiting for dollars to fall from the sky. A week has passed, and now, it's almost 2 weeks. Why don't you come and buy it? Can you give me a confirmation and a purchase intention? But, still nothing. No, this Chinese trainer Yang Yu is so cunning. He must have guessed that we were going to sell it for a price and wanted to make a good profit from his high cost of building materials, so he didn't let any news out. Nearly 2 weeks, this Chinese trainer is so tolerant. No, I think this should be the decision of Lily Sakurai, who is beside the trainer. You know, that woman is also very business savvy in Sakura country. I just don't understand. Isn't Lily Sakura the proud daughter of the Sakura kingdom? Why did she go to the side of Yang Yu, the trainer of the Chinese kingdom? And she is against us. What else can there be? Yang Yu is the youngest gym level trainer in the world. It's okay for a woman from Sakura country to get involved, right? So, guys, what do we say? North American material dealers began to gather at the Boston Elf Alliance, and in this conference room, they expressed their opinions one after another. In their eyes, Yang Yu was just a fat sheep waiting to be slaughtered, and it was very fat. As a gym-level trainer, you must be very rich, right? Not to mention the Dai dessert shop, which seems to have only one shop now, but who doesn't know how many people in North America are staring at this small dessert shop? If Yang Yu had no money, he would go bankrupt. No problem. Is it enough to just use the state dessert shop as a mortgage? In this way, in the end, wouldn't this dessert shop become the private product of the Boston Elf Alliance? When it comes to the meat in your mouth, you'd be sorry if you don't eat it. By the way, these material dealers can also take a few sips of soup. This wave of calculation is simply perfect. Only someone needs to cooperate. Anyone who cooperates? Why haven't you come yet? The flowers they have been waiting for are all withered. Boss, something happened, that Yang Yu, he. When George received the news for the first time, Ren Ni Ma was dumbfounded. This is something serious, something absolutely terrible. These material merchants and bosses are gathered in this conference room. What can he do? He is also desperate. But can George hide it and not report it? George must report it. In this conference room, there is likely to be a bloody storm. What's wrong? Mackinson's face suddenly froze. Like Mackinson, these material dealers also became excited. George, please speak slowly, speak slowly. What happened? Mackinson felt that veins were popping up on his forehead, and he had an unknown premonition. Old, boss, George was beginning to panic now. He bit his lip to keep himself awake. Boss, that Yang Yu, he is not going to build a gym. No, he is not planning to build a gym building, he is going to hold a concert on the grounds of this gym. What? Concert? Mackinson was stunned. The material dealers were also dumbfounded. Why is this Yang Yu, why does he want to play so much? You are such a gym-level trainer, why don't you open your own gym and go to a concert? Do you know how much profit a gym can bring to you after it is established? Is that comparable to a mere concert? A few minutes ago, Mackinson and these material dealers were still discussing how to make Yang Yu suffer more losses in building a personal gym here, and let him understand that this is North America. But what? Yang Yu's personal gym, the personal gym will not be built. What does that mean? This means that all the preparations made by these material merchants in the past 2 weeks have been in vain. They have deployed many materials in advance from other states, and now they are hoarding them in the warehouse of the Boston factory, waiting to be sold to Yang Yu. But what? Yang Yu doesn't build a personal gym anymore, he's going to hold a humming concert. Is this something humans do? This man must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. Mackinson panicked. All these material dealers were also panicked. They even let other production lines fully produce building materials. Now, they may be faced with a situation where they cannot sell them. Because, Yang Yu doesn't want to build it anymore. No, this is impossible. This must be a conspiracy of the Chinese trainer Yang Yu. A conspiracy. He is destroying the market, he is destroying the market. In the conference room, all the material dealers started to cry and howl. Only Mackinson felt lost in his heart, as if he didn't feel like he was in the earth anymore. Yang Yu, please buy some materials. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Shao. Chapter 896. This Yang Yu, is he crazy? Is he crazy, or are we? After the howling of ghosts and wolves, there was a period of dead silence. It was quiet in the Boston Elf Alliance meeting room. George didn't dare to take a breath, his whole body was trembling, and his heart felt like it was about to burst out of his throat. Mackenson's eyes were already covered with a layer of red, and his hoarse voice sounded a bit sad in this conference room. I don't believe that he wants to hold a concert at the Elf Battle Arena. A concert also requires a lot of energy. The staff needs a lot of seats, and he will always buy these things. If I don't want my Boston Elf Alliance to have an easy time, I won't let him have an easy time either. What does he want to do? I just keep him company. I don't believe it anymore. I'll block him in the major transportation channels. No matter what, we can't even let him get what he wants. Mckinson and the others have been waiting here for 12 days, nearly 2 weeks. How much manpower, material and financial resources have been spent gathering materials from other states in North America to the Boston area? But what's the result? The result is that now, Yang Yu has no intention of coming to the Elf Alliance to buy materials. Mackinson almost spat out blood from his mouth, but in this place, in this Elf Alliance meeting room, he couldn't mess up. That's right, at this time, we can't mess up. What kind of storms and waves have we not seen before? Tim, the representative of the material supplier, forced himself to calm down. However, this is a profit of hundreds of millions of dollars. Even if it is distributed, it will still be a profit of tens of millions of dollars. For today's material dealers, such profits are enough to make a bloody battle. I know, the purpose of this Chinese trainer Yang Yu is to attract the attention of us people, send out a signal, let us stock up the goods in advance, and then come. What kind of salary will this draw? Material dealer representative G. Gert made gestures, his tongue was a little awkward. George warned carefully, pull the fire under the cauldron. Yes, that's it. He is stirring up the material market, just to wait for us to hoard it, but he is just sitting there, waiting for us to lower the price. Jajet's big eyes were so angry that he glared. Come down. President Mackinson, as you said, we cannot let Yang Yu, a despicable trainer, succeed. Yes, this must be his conspiracy. We must unite. Many material dealers have expressed their positions and unswervingly safeguarded the common interests of themselves and the Elf Alliance. Mckinson felt a little better. The material dealers here supported his approach, which meant that what he did was absolutely correct. This is all for the benefit of the Boston Elf Alliance and the interests of the Elf Alliance's collaborators. In this case, we must unite and take charge of the logistics going to the Boston area, especially the bulk materials that are destined for the southern suburbs of Boston. We suspect that there are dangerous goods in them. In this way, we still be able to take the absolute initiative. That's right, we also need to master the transportation channels in the direction of the airport. No matter how much Yang Yu turns over, he can't turn out any waves. This is North America. In the conference room, the tense and solemn atmosphere disappeared in an instant like ice and snow. Everyone was smiling and feeling like they had a chance to win. It's simply not that exciting. This is North America. It's the world of capital. Boss, do you want to send someone to keep an eye on our waterways? George asked in a low voice in Kinson's ear. Ha 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 ha, George, I didn't expect you to ask stupid questions sometimes. You said, the waterways in our Boston area are so narrow. Even if Yang Yu wants to hold a concert, there are so many things inside Boston. How can it be transported by water? If you think about it carefully, how can Yang Yu use water shipping in Boston? Just rely on a super-type slow king? How is this possible? After hearing this, George's eyes lit up and he nodded repeatedly. The boss is still wise. Some things are good, but sometimes, don't be so nervous and keep worrying about things, that's not good. You will have to be promoted in a few days. You did a good job. Mackensen patted George on the shoulder and gave him great affirmation. Thank you, boss, for your cultivation. Thank you, boss, for your cultivation. George's eyes instantly lit up, and his smile became more flattering. Let's go to the Keaton Hotel and have a big banquet to celebrate our cooperation. Mackensen waved his hand and sneered lightly in his heart. Chinese trainer Yang Yu, let's see what you do this time. The big move of the Boston Elf Alliance has no impact on the ordinary people of Boston. It is a common thing to increase supervision on logistics, and some truck drivers who transport goods are not surprised. Just cooperate as you should. Life goes on. Yang Yu participated in an academic study on the evolution of elves at Hoffa Elf University, and the speaker was none other than Professor Flazai, who had a high level of achievement in the field of water elven research. It's a pity that Yang Yu is also the kind of person who falls asleep whenever he hears English. At least, it feels like listening to an English teacher in a high school class and sleeping soundly on the desk. Very missed. Yang Yu's high school grades were hindered by the subject of English. Although Reggie Locke could be used as a translator to translate, it was better not to stand out in such a public place. Even though Reggie Locke is now Reggie Long Rock, after all, a rock elf speaking human language is too shocking. In the elf world, there are indeed elves who can speak human language, but the problem is that most of the elves who can speak human language are magical super-type elves. It is hard to imagine what it would be like for a rock-type elf to speak. In short, in North America, Reggie Locke's identity cannot be exposed. In this way, the 15 students from Yanjing Elf University and 5 students from Music Elf University who followed listened to it with great interest. Well, that's great. Professor Yang Yu, this Professor Flazai speaks so well. Professor Yang Yu, why did Professor Yang Yu fall asleep? Amid the applause, Yang Yu finally woke up from his sleep. To be honest, Darkrai just couldn't stand it anymore and ran to Yang Yu's dream to pull Yang Yu from his dream into reality. Oh! Not bad, not bad. It seems that everyone has gained a lot. If compared with these students from Yanjing Elf University, Yang Yu is indeed a complete academic scumbag, but well, he hasn't slept so comfortably for a long time. I really miss this feeling. At this time, Professor Freshwell, who had already arranged his things on the podium, walked slowly to Yang Yu's side and asked with a smile, Professor Yang Yu, what I said is pretty good, right? Yang Yu coughed lightly, Professor Flasvit, your lecture is very good and very delicious. Fragrant. Flasvi. A lot of what he talked about was about the fish and water spirits in the ocean, and he focused on Magikarp. This Magikarp's whole body is made of bones. What does this have to do with incense? Speaking of which, Professor Freshwell couldn't figure this out. Yang Yu often told the Salted Fish King to braise it from the very beginning, but it was not during the Carp King period, but instead during the Gyarados period. He didn't even need it. If Yang Yu takes action, the Salted Fish King can braise himself. After all, activating the anger of the Scarlet Gyarados state is to cause the raging blood in the body to burn. Speaking of it, it is exactly the same as red burning. The students around me were speechless for a while, and really wanted to find a place to hide. At this time, Professor Yang Yu had just woken up, and his mind must not be clear. By the way, speaking of this, Professor Yang Yu, do you still have toffee at your place? Some old professors I know like this taste very much. They may have a good reputation and are afraid that they won't be able to talk to you if they are not familiar with you. After all, Every day there is a very long queue at the door, and it is a bit inconvenient for them to take 2 pills at a time, Professor Flasby asked with a smile. Of course, making toffee is much easier than making desserts. I will ask someone to deliver it to your office in the afternoon, so I can ask Professor Freshway to say hello to these professors on my behalf, Yang Yu said with a smile. This is what it should be. These old guys feel that the cream inside tastes like going back to that time decades ago. Haha, Professor Yang Yu, your day-day dessert shop is really good. I didn't expect it. Simple desserts can also have the effect of making people nostalgic for the good old days, Fresvy praised repeatedly. The friendly conversation between Yang Yu and Professor Flazai indeed filled these students with envy and admiration. Hu Jing wondered in her mind whether she should restart the idea that she had never done before. That is the graduate student who signed up for Professor Yang Yu. This is completely different from today's graduate students, who choose Professor Yang Yu as their graduate tutor, and even as their doctoral tutor later. Professor Yang Yu is right, this is so delicious. At this time, Lily Ying, who was beside Yang Yu, received a piece of news. It seemed like it should be very bad news, but she didn't expect to hear Professor Flasvy's conversation at this time. In this way, it seems that this bad news. Just a joke. Blockade. Can you live in lockdown? Don't underestimate these old professors in Hafa. Every old professor has a profound background that ordinary people cannot see. Even family. How many years has the North American Boston Elf Alliance been established? Compared with some powerful families in North America, he is really just a little kid who hasn't grown his teeth yet. However, everything depends on what Professor Yang Yu wants. On the way back, Beihuing found an opportunity and whispered to Yang Yu about some of the actions of the Boston Elf Alliance. Yang Yu touched his nose with a strange expression. That what? Doesn't the Boston Elf Alliance pay too much attention to Yang Yu? What are you doing? This is, one by one. Didn't I already say that Yang Yu came here to travel? Apart from doing some small things, there is nothing that can attract the Elf Alliance's attention, right? There is a concert and everyone is so excited. Could it be that I, Yang Yu, am a fan? If it was really like this and so enthusiastic, Yang Yu would really have to sing thousands of miles away. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Shao. Chapter 897. Snapped. Boston Elf Alliance, are they so excessive? After hearing the news, Hu Jing blushed from the roots of her neck to her face, her beautiful eyebrows suddenly stood up, and all the energy in her body seemed to be concentrated in her head. She was so angry that she even burst out in front of Yang Yu and Lily Ying for the 3rd time. He slapped the table violently. The table was hit closely by the moves, and Hu Jing completed a knowing blow. Yang Yu and Lily Ying were both startled. Looking at Hu Jing's majestic momentum at this moment, she looked like she was about to kill the Boston Elf Alliance without leaving any trace behind. This was something Yang Yu and Lily Ying never expected. Jing, you don't have a fever, do you? This was the first time Lily Ying saw Hu Jing looking so manly. It was hard to imagine that she had completely suppressed her momentum before. I didn't expect it, I didn't expect it. Yang Yu couldn't help wiping his sweat, and looked at Hu Jing's slap on the table. He sighed and apologized for the table in his heart, but why was Hu Jing suddenly so excited? Thinking that Lily Ying had just briefly explained what the Boston Elf Alliance had done recently, Hu Jing exploded with anger before Yang Yu got angry. Yang Yu took a deep breath. What should I say now? Hu Jing, calm down, calm down. Lily Ying never thought that one day she would comfort Hu Jing in turn, but at this time, everyone should be in the same trench, which made Lily Ying involuntarily come up. He patted Hu Jing on the shoulder to comfort her. These people from the Boston Elf Alliance are so disgusting. At this time, Hu Jing seemed to see Professor Yang Yu, who was obviously frightened by her with 2 big eyes, and Lily Ying who came to comfort her. The atmosphere gradually became awkward. However, she still wanted to scold Hu Jing. "Professor Yang Yu, you must not be affected by this garbage. It has no moral bottom line and it simply stinks." Yang Yu. To be honest, who was actually affected and got the upper hand? Seeing Hu Jing's trash talk ability soaring, Lily Ying was stunned again. To be able to make Hu Jing so angry, it seems that these North American Boston Alpha Lions and these bottomless businessmen are really disgusting. However, such a scene is not surprising to Lily Sakura. It seems. Or Hu Jing hasn't stepped into society yet, so she doesn't know how sinister people's hearts are in business. Lily Sakura was angry and funny. Really, it's normal for something like this to happen in North America. Isn't it just disgusting? The Boston Alpha Lions is quite good at this, but I never expected. Yang Yu and Lily Ying were both too lazy to bother with it. After all, what the Boston Alpha Lions was doing now would not affect Yang Yu's personal gym concert plan at all. Who knew that the Boston Alpha Lions had nothing to do but look for things to do on their own, but all they did was completely useless. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that he was in front of Lily Ying and Hu Jing, Yang Yu would probably have found a place to laugh stupidly. The Boston Alpha Lions's operation would end up increasing their workload. I really didn't expect it. It turns out that Hu Jing, who is usually relatively quiet, suddenly explodes at this time. Quiet, quiet, let me tell you first. The Boston Alpha Lions is completely wasting its own manpower, material, and material resources. On the contrary, no matter what they do, they can't affect us, because we don't have any influence at all. We don't need their building materials. Lily Sakura couldn't help laughing, with a natural and cheerful smile, endlessly happy. Hu Jing gradually became a little confused. Well, let's put it this way, the Boston Alpha Lions has done this. We even want them to do more and invest more manpower, material and financial resources. It won't affect us anyway. We can feel at ease here. See how the Alpha Lions lost money to my grandma's family. Yang Yu continued to make gestures. Ah! The scene fell silent. Hu Jing seemed to realize something. Yes. How could she be so stupid? In this aspect, Professor Yang Yu and Lily Ying must know much more than she does, and Lily Ying is also a genius in the business field of Sakura country. Professor Yang Yu and Lily Ying were not in a hurry. Why was she, Hu Jing, so anxious? All of a sudden, the face that was red with anger before became even more overwhelmed because of shyness, and even seemed to bleed. Professor Yang Yu, you see Jing is so anxious, why don't we fight back and play with the Boston Alpha Lions? Lily Ying's lips curled up slightly. This faintly evil smile had not appeared on Lily Sakura's face for a long time. Just this trace of evil charm made the aura condensed on Lily Sakura's body full of coldness and oppression. Even, there is a trace of indescribable sexiness and enchantment. Yang Yu shrugged. He strongly agreed with this suggestion. After all, what the Boston Alpha Lions did not affect the moods of Yang Yu and Lily Ying, but it affected Hu Jing. This student, who was still studying in the ivory tower of the school, could be regarded as seeing a relatively dark scene in this elven world, and the indignation aroused in his heart was completely from the heart. Yang Yu came here to travel. The most important thing about traveling to North America with so many students and 2 teaching assistants is to have fun. As long as Hu Jing is unhappy with these messy things in Yang Yu's team, Yang Yu is being offended, and Yang Yu is unhappy. Humans, find a way to dismantle the Boston Alpha Lions. Darkrai rubbed his hands expectantly in the shadow. On this day, can the Boston Alpha Lions, an organization that achieves nothing but fails, do something useful? Are these people just like Nuanuan pigs? No, even Kodakya is sometimes smarter than these people. Yang Yu felt Darkray's thoughts and rolled his eyes. It's nothing to demolish a few elf gyms in North America. The demolition of the Boston Alpha Lions is no small matter. It cannot be dismantled. However, if these people who are looking for trouble have to suffer a little more, do they really think that Yang Yu is a soft persimmon? In the past, I was too lazy to care about these guys. I didn't care about them because of the money and support given by the Boston Elf Alliance. But it's different now. Didn't you see Hu Jing slamming the table in anger? Don't they want to block it? What airport, what logistics channel? Yang Yu said lightly, Hu Jing, don't be angry. There is no need to be angry with these people. It's not worth it. Besides, with these methods, can they still block what I, Yang Yu, want? Dream. Professor Yang Yu, what are you going to do? They have controlled this traffic artery. Bulk logistics must be inspected. How can the stage to be built for the concert be delivered to the southern suburbs of Boston? Hu Jing, I felt a little anxious. Hearing that Professor Yang Yu and Lily Ying were going to fight back, I felt warm in my heart. At the same time, I was ready to follow Professor Yang Yu and Lily Ying to fight back. At this moment, Yang Yu's expression gradually became a little strange. Like Yang Yu, Lily Ying also looked at Hu Jing with an interesting expression. Lily Ying spoke softly, and couldn't help but laugh wantonly. Hu Jing, it's only been more than a year, have you forgotten? During the national competition last year, Meteor Forest, what kind of bird is your Chinese Valentine's Day? Ah! Lily Sakura, shut up. Hu Jing raised her hand in shame and anger. That was a shame that she would never forget for the rest of her life. At the same time, Hu Jing's movements were like pressing the pause button, and her whole body was stagnant for the second. At the same time, her eyes gradually became incredible. Meteor Forest, Meteor Forest. The most incredible thing Professor Yang Yu did in the national competition Meteor Forest. Just let all the elves in Meteor Forest be his helpers. In Boston, there is someone who can help him. Mykerp. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 898. Chapter 871, Omega. This goes back to the first day Yang Yu came to Boston. Ever since he tasted the sweetness in the secret realm of Fushi Mountain in Sakura country, Yang Yu had a code of conduct in his mind when facing unfamiliar areas. No matter where you go, first look for a place with water. Whether it's a river or a creek, even the City Ring River in downtown Boston, or even in the suburbs, you can find Magi Carp wherever there is water flowing. Finding the Magi Carp is not enough. What Yang Yu is really looking for is the Magi Carp with the iconic move, Omega *. The temporary manor provided for residents by Hafa Elf University has gurgling water in the woods near the manor. The next morning after arriving at the manor to rest, Yang Yu took Jigglypuff, Little Dream Demon, Tijipai and Dudu together to the woods to look for the saluting carp in the small river between the woods. King. Although it was a pity that he did not find it at first, Yang Yu was not surprised. The army of Magi Carp coming out of the Meteor Forest spreads, and spreads again as the watershed spreads, and plunges into the sea. Eventually, it will form one team after another that separates in different directions. However, before this diversion, a group of Carp Kings followed the Gyarados leader and were lucky enough to meet Yang Yu in the ocean and their king, the Salted Fish King. How many Magi Carp are there in this elven world? Countless. Among the countless Magi Carp, how many are from the Meteor Forest and have received the military training of the Salted Fish King? This ratio is very small. But don't forget, no matter how small the ratio is, how many Magi Carp from other areas will join the Magi Carp from Meteor Forest at the intersection with the sea before entering the diversion of the sea. This is a tribe. This is the fish school effect that cannot be ignored. Most of the wild Magi Carp are elves that blindly follow the large army wherever they go. It doesn't matter even if they break up, because it won't take long for the lost King Magi Carp to find a new large army. Water splashes, water splashes, water splashes. This is the most ordinary day for Magi carp. But what cannot be ignored is that if during the water splashing process, a different water splashing occurs, for example, the water splashing of the Carp King's army. Kluyo, 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 Kluyo. This is like a slogan, 1, 2, 1, 2. The army of Magi carp leaping into the water in an orderly manner can gather more Magi carp around in this vast sea. Especially, the leader of the Magi carp army is Gyarados. Before being divided, the size of King Carp's army expanded several times. It's like a group of confused carp kings. On this Yusheng road to the sea, they found the organization and the road to the light. Among this initial army of Magi carp in the meteor forest, even if it is further dispersed, even if there is only one Magi carp, what remains is the military soul of this Carp King army when it was first established. As the leader of this Carp King army, the Salted Fish King is the incarnation of the unfailing spirit. In this Boston Manor area, even if there is no Carp King who can salute, the Salted Fish King can still form a brand new Carp King army here. Things sometimes develop in unexpected directions. It is true that there are no Carp Kings who can salute in the river area of the Manor Woods, but, these Carp Kings living here have been lucky enough to meet a few of them. Yang Yu's power of wave guidance, Dede's dialogue with these Magi Carp Kings, and the Salty Fish King himself, as a giant Gyarados, for the Magi Carp clan, it is a symbol of king no matter where it is. Cluck K. It was probably the 4th day after arriving in Boston. Through the guidance of the Carp King in the local river in Boston, Yang Yu saw the first carp in the forest river of the manor without any words, just a look. Magi carp who can complete the salute pose. Omega asterisk. The Carp King army never disappoints Yang Yu. This is Yang Yu's secret weapon. No matter where he goes, as long as there is water, as long as he can see the Carp King, even if they are not a member of the Carp King army who have received the Salty Fish King's military training. Yes. We can. In the river area next to the elf battleground in the southern suburbs of Boston, it looks exactly the same as usual. From time to time, you can see the jumping king carp and splashing in the water, but what others don't know is, these Magi Carp Kings have all been replaced by the elite of the elites of the Meteor Forest Magi Carp King army. With the manor as the center, under the training of Salty Fish King and Male, Little Bayo Bayo issued an order and sent out these Boston Carp King squads to look for truly elite-friendly forces around Boston. Now, they have gathered in the rivers in the southern suburbs one after another. These Magi Carp agent teams, who have experienced life and death in the sea, have successfully disguised like the usual Magi Carp. With one move, the whole body moves, waiting quietly, for the king's order. Speaking of which, these Carp Kings are also vagabond elves wandering around the world. Yang Yu felt quite emotional. We can see these familiar scenes in the southern suburbs of Boston. As more and more of them appear, we don't know how many new troops these Carp King troops have brought, although some of them are still jumping around irregularly. Even Magic Herb Xiao Bing Bing seems to be indistinguishable from left to right. However, this is not any problem. When Hu Jing and Lily Ying followed Yang Yu to the river near the solo gym concert venue in the southern suburbs, Hu Jing once again recalled the fear of being dominated by Yang Yu in the Meteor Forest. How to fight this? Now, this fear has gradually evolved into joy and is a solid backing. Under the sun. Is there anywhere in the world where Magi Carp is not seen? Oh my gosh, Professor Yang Yu, I remember there weren't so many before. Right, Lily Ying became more and more frightened. She had been to this place once during the inspection, and had also seen the original few. Magi Carp knows how to salute, but how many days has it been? Crazy. All crazy. In the water where there seemed to be only a few Magi Carp on the surface, 2 blue figures suddenly appeared. It's 2 Gyarados. This is not the Salted Fish King, nor is it little Gyarados. It is the wild Gyarados hidden in the river in the southern suburbs. Seeing this scene, Hu Jing couldn't help but tremble in her heart. The original Blackbird battle on Kixi Festival was under such an environment. Although the wild Gyarados appearing in front of us now, there are only 2 heads, but what about the others? To be honest, seeing the appearance of these 2 Gyarados hidden at the bottom of the river, Yang Yu was so frightened that he was so scared. It's not the Carp King army promised. Why did 2 Gyarados appear? Etc. Yang Yu suddenly realized something. In the end, the number of Gyarados in the meteor forest was fixed at 5. Even if the salty fish king surfed again and led the charge of the King Magikarp army, it could not evolve again. At this time, the number of Gyarados has reached natural saturation. In other words, if you want a 6th wild Gyarados to appear in meteor forest, it will be very difficult when there are 5 Gyarados gathered at the same time, but now the Carp King army has experienced the experience of the sea. In this sea, in this natural world of the sea, how many Gyarados can be considered saturated? The answer is impossible to guess. This number would be very terrifying. It's over, it's over. Yang Yu couldn't help but thumped in his heart. He remembered. As early as last year when he went to the World Center Island, Yang Yu saw at least 7 or 8 Gyarados. After all this time, if the Magikarp army evolves into the Gyarados army. No way. Is it really possible to dismantle the Boston Elf Alliance? Under several large river basins around Boston, a pair of deep eyes were looking at the light in the water at the bottom of the basin. No one knows how many Gyarados are hiding underneath here. He didn't show up in a big way, he just came quietly around Boston in the middle of the night. Because they are an organized and disciplined Gyarados army. Of course, if necessary, just let the salted fish king roar. The Gyarados army can lay siege to the city. It is said that. Is someone doing a blockade? It is said that. How many of you are there? You may not believe it, but Boston has been surrounded by our Gyarados army. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 899. Yang Yu would never tell this terrible fact. After all, he really just came here to travel. However, these Gyarados can't be driven away. They spontaneously and quietly came to the river waters around the elf battle site in the southern suburbs of Boston, so let them continue to live peacefully here in peace. At this stage, Magikarp is enough. Really, to deal with the blockade of the Boston Elf Alliance, only the Magikarp army is enough. The Gyarados army, this is too bullying of the Boston Elf Alliance. Lying on the grass, awesome. Darkrai heard from Yang Yu that there was an army of Carp King, but Darkrai didn't think that the army composed of Carp King could be strong at first, but he never expected. Magikarp has evolved so much. Evolving into Gyarados is different. In terms of momentum, it is true that if Gyarados gathers in groups, the ferocious faces of each of them will scare SKR people just by looking at them, but a very real question. In fact, Yang Yu also knows that whether it is the Gyarados army or the Magikarp King army, they have inherent disadvantages in the face of powerful electric moves. However, in the city's surrounding river, no one will foolishly give orders to the surrounding city. River casts a powerful 100,000 volts or thunder. Of course, the premise is that the city is not threatened by wild and vicious elves. Because of this, the Carp King army is the real main force in transporting goods no matter which city they are in the water. The Gyarados army, a deterrent with a nuclear bomb effect, is destined not to appear in the city. This is Yang Yu's bottom line as a trainer. Are you relieved now? Yang Yu smiled faintly and glanced at Hu Jing. Hu Jing was stunned for a moment, then began to nod crazily. This move by Professor Yang Yu is indeed not what a normal person would imagine. Who would have thought? In Boston, North America, you can actually see the scene of the Carp King army in the meteor forest of China. Our concert will have a large venue for the elves. In this case, since the Magi Carp army has gathered in this watershed, let them use the splashing water as the accompaniment of the carnival sound effects. Yang Yu thought about it. This was an excellent idea. This is a tribute to life that belongs to the elves. Yes, Professor Yang Yu's mind works really fast, Lily Ying replied with a smile. With the Carp King's army, Hu Jing has been appeased. Speaking of which, now that the North American Elf Alliance has made a move, Yang Yu ignores it. It is indeed easy for them to feel that they can take advantage of it. Taking advantage of this opportunity, it is time to show off their skills. Yang Yuk always remembered the instructions of Dragon Gym leader Yun Zhenfei and Fairy Gym leader Ye Yan before coming. Show your true strength as a trainer with confidence and boldness. With the full support of the Chinese Elf Alliance and all the gym leaders, stand tall and become a real trainer. Everything is ready and will be ready soon. Yang Yu's heart moved. Among the homeless people in the Boston neighborhood, under the leadership of Leader Ram, some of them have already chosen to join the Celebration of Life project. Even if it's not for myself, it's for the elves who accompany me through hardships. The most they can give to their elves is their own embrace. Even if this embrace is not very warm, it has a heart that is still warm, and can still bring a sense of security to the elves. Wang Xiaoli led the construction team of the demolition team, with hundreds of powerful people, including many with strange powers. Such a large-scale and organized demolition office looked very impressive from a distance. This is the same as Magikarp's army. It's just that the elves in the demolition team construction team led by Wang Xiaoli are all fighting elves who are famous for their strength. When they demolish the houses together, the efficiency is really impressive. In addition to the powerful and strange power, Yang Yu also saw that there were superpower elves in the demolition team coordinating and arranging the assignment of tasks. It can be said that under such an organized demolition arrangement, safety was also achieved to the extreme. Everyone is really growing. Yang Yu looked in the direction of Wang Xiaoli. Behind him was the river basin where the Carp King's army gathered. He was accompanied by Hu Jing, who had just experienced some of the dangers of society, and Lily Ying, who had been following in his footsteps. The wandering elves need the stage to show their life force. They will work hard to thrive in the darkness. Because of this, Yang Yu should make this personal gym concert venue even more important. Better. Dadu, are you right? Poppy. Tijipai, who was in Dudu's arms, answered first instead of Dudu. Yang Yu lowered his head and looked in the direction of Tijipai. His expression stiffened slightly. Speaking of growing up, it seems that nothing around Yang Yu has changed much. It seems like it's just the little guy Tijipai, right? As if sensing Yang Yu's thoughts, Tijipai lowered his hands and stared directly at Yang Yu with both eyes. At the same time, flickeringly, as if he was aggrieved, he began to brew a big move. Yang Yu. Tijipai, you have made the greatest progress in your growth. You see, when you were not grown up before, your voice was very loud when you cried. Ah, it was so shocking that you cried ghosts and gods, stop crying. Yang Yu remembered the fear of being dominated by Tijipai's cry on the sea. Boom boom boom. Zhyla. In the clear sky, grey clouds appeared, and in the dark clouds, an extremely bright and thick lightning instantly appeared. This lightning. It's like the key to the summer rainy season. Yeah. He blinked blankly and looked down at the little Tijipai in his arms whose cries moved the world. Could this be where Tijipai is really powerful? After Hu Jing was shocked by the Carp King's army, she never expected that something even more terrifying than the Carp King's army would come. This is the Tijipai that is usually the most inconspicuous around Professor Yang Yu. No, this Tijipai is still very conspicuous, but Hu Jing has never seen Tijipai make a move. This move. Tian'en. Lily Sakura couldn't help but feel her heart skip a beat. Tijipai, who has the characteristics of Tianan, is an elf favored by the elf world. So, if the elf favored by the elf world is in the hands of Professor Yang Yu, it means that Professor Yang Yu is a trainer favored by the elf world. Ah, Tijipai, don't cry, stop crying, I was wrong, okay. I only saw the elf ball beside Yang Yu flashing for an instant. On a thundery day, it goes better with Salted Fish King. Roar. This is an announcement that is ready to go. For a while. Timely rain. Pokemon's character master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 900. A rain in Boston washed away a lot of the annoying heat in the air throughout the city during this hot summer day. Pedestrians and elves walking on the road naturally held umbrellas together. Many flying warrior eagles in the sky quickly landed on the ground. Flying in this thunderstorm was an absolute taboo for both flying elves and humans. Under the 12th banyan tree of Hatta Elf University, in this stupid wooden dessert shop, at this time, colorful neon lights are shining on the edge of the house, just like a dessert shop in a fairy tale town. While the rain was pouring down, there were layers of light spreading around the house. Bow! 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 Jigglypuff was under the eaves of the dessert house, facing the empty asphalt path in front of him, making a soft sound. Close your eyes, sing on a rainy day, and feel the natural sound of rain. Quack quack quack. If there is anything that looks happiest on this rainy day, it is the frog. If we follow the original trajectory, in the summer at Mount Fuji, the crocodile frog should still be using the body of King Carp as a springboard to step on fish with his friends in the waters under Mount Fuji, right? But when he thought of the entire army of carp kings he saw in the southern suburbs, waiting for orders, the frog felt his whole body trembling with excitement. Those magi carp in Mount Fuji. Just some idiots. There is simply no comparison with such a professional team of carp king. If I could jump on the backs of these magi carp. This will be a new version of the ship that the frog has never experienced before. 10 times happier little jumping frog. No, far more than 10 times. Quack quack quack. Yang Yu looked at the croaking frog at the door who was full of anticipation and couldn't wait. Of course he understood why the croaking frog was so anxious. Taking advantage of this rainy day, it's time to take a new step in the plan. When the rain lets up a little, we'll head out to the back streets. Yang Yu's eyes fell on the frog walking rhythmically in the rain. The frog has worked hard for so long, and it's time for him to relax. Rainy days are Carp King's favorite weather, and they are also the grass-type elves' favorite weather in the hot summer. For the wandering elves living in the back streets of Boston and other neighborhoods, the heat in the city will put them in a harsh situation of water shortage. If it doesn't rain for a long time, just a few of the water-type elves can use water guns. The accumulated water is simply not enough for so many elves. If you go to the city sewers to find polluted water, not only will these thirsty elves not be able to quench their thirst, but they may also fall into a state of poisoning. Every time it rains, these wandering elves will collect as much rainwater as possible, hoping that the rainwater can be used for a few more days, but in this dark and sunless corner, the rainwater cannot be left for too long. Precisely because we live in such a difficult environment, water is the source of life in the true sense. Seed. In the backstreet block, the heavy rain has caused relatively few pedestrians in this area. For some shops in the block, this is bad weather, but for the wandering elves who live here, happy time has arrived. Air. Polda. Bulbasaur tentatively showed half of his face in the corner, and a walking grasshopper and a Rattata poked their heads out layer by layer around Bulbasaur, like a stack of arhuts. A pair of eyes opened brightly. They are eager to enjoy the comfort of being soaked and washed by the rain in the large open space in front of them. I carefully looked around and found that there were no pedestrians coming and going during this period of time in this rain-dropped area. Empty backstreet blocks are their best gift right now. Seed. Seed. After Bulbasaur agreed, these wandering elves made all their efforts and headed towards this empty field. Go. Da-da-da-da. The walking grass stepped out with its feet, stepping on the splash of joy in this rain-soaked alley. The walking grass in front stepped out with its front feet, and the walking grass behind followed with its hind feet. No one cared about themselves. Are your feet soaked by the rain? Because of the water splashing on the ground. It represents their happy and joyful mood. If you were here, you would never have thought that in this small neighborhood, there would be so many walking grass, so many Rattata, and Piku, vine monsters, Paras, and Ladybug. Wait a minute, elf. Deep in the alley, in a rain shelter, there were some little kids looking enviously at these little friends who went out to play on a rainy day. Under these heavy raindrops, the little fiststones didn't dare to go out, unless it was drizzling, otherwise they would feel a little uncomfortable in the rain. It's raining. The homeless people in the backstreets looked at these little guys in the rainy weather with emotion. This should be the weather that makes them happy the most. Especially in the hot summer. If this rain comes any later, the water reserves in the backstreet neighborhoods are likely to run out. Watching these little elves rolling, treading water, and running around in this rainy venue, it seems that the restrained spirit has been released to the maximum extent. He raised his head and looked at the occasional flash of lightning in the sky. Even if they are wandering elves, at this moment, they are still the ones who can win the favor of Father God. According to the agreement, he should come over today to give us a surprise. Ram, the leader of the homeless, covered his head with a plastic board and looked at the street corner. There, a familiar figure will appear. Boss, the Boston Elf Alliance has now implemented a complete blockade on him. Although I know that mentioning this now will hurt morale, but, we can't do it in vain, right? Pruitt whispered from behind. No, Pruitt, he has already paid his reward. Wanderer Ram shook his head slightly. Boss, did he pay you? Why don't we know what it is? Wanderer Pruitt was extremely surprised. Like Pruitt, most of the other wanderers were a little surprised. Nick was alone, deep in thought. He understood somewhat. Have you forgotten some of the desserts you have eaten these days? Also, the life drops are not only effective for these elves, but are also of great help to us people. Pruitt, don't tell me how many days you have been drinking them. After diluting the drops of life water, your knee joints originally hurt on rainy days, but now, aren't you still standing here peacefully? Ram, the leader of the wanderers, said calmly. Some things are often too easy to obtain, but they will not be cherished and ignored. If there were no small help from Yang Yu in the past few days, their current life would not be as calm as it is now. In the hot summer, there may even be many grass-type elves who cannot survive the rainy days. Once these elves have no choice but to choose to drink contaminated water from sewers. Everything will get worse. It may seem like nothing has changed now, but in fact, this is already the biggest change. Because as long as the current momentum is maintained, this is development in a good direction. The Boston Elf Alliance doesn't care about wanderers like them, nor does it care about the life and death of these wandering elves. There are even some charitable organizations. That's just a way for capitalists to hide their money from others. Boss, I understand, Pruitt replied solemnly. Ram nodded. At this time, the cat boss next to Roma narrowed his left eye slightly, and at the same time, he reached out and touched Roma's trouser leg lightly. He came. In the rain, that vague figure in the distance gradually became clearer. It's Yang Yu. He came.